everybody, how are you? We can immediately start by building the main structure of our little chest of drawers. First of all, we start with the back of the structure. It is composed by 3 thick cardboards. Each one is 23 cm by 25 cm. I'm gluing together these 3 pieces using some silicone glue. You can also use other kinds of strong glue, but it is important to glue very well the cardboards. The cardboards I used are 2 mm thick. I ask you to use the same thickness because in this way you won't have any problem with the other parts of the structure. As you can see, now I'm using an emery board to sand all the borders of this first piece. The reason is that I want to give the impression of a single piece, not composed by 3 different cardboards. I try to get the best possible results. In this way, it will be easier to join this piece to the others I will create. So, take your time to have the best result. Now we can build the base and the top cover. Each part is composed by 3 cardboards 2 mm thick that measure each one 23 cm by 18 cm. 3 for the base, 3 for the top cover. And I've done the same thing done before, gluing the cardboards together and sand very well the borders. What I want to do now is gluing the base and the top cover to the first structure, the back. I glue everything using the silicone glue. This one is very strong, but you need to have patience. You must press very well each piece for 1 minute at least to allow each piece to adhere. Once we glued the base on the top cover to the back side, I'm taking the measurements to build the right side and the left side. If you follow the previous steps, now your measurements should be the same. For the first side, the side 1 or right side, I want to cut 3 cardboard pieces. Each one is 18.6 cm by 25 cm. For the side 2, the left side, it's the same. 3 pieces of 18.6 cm by 25 cm. As you see, I'm gluing all together and I will sand very well each border with an emery board to give the impression of a single piece. Well, we build the right and the left side. And now I want to glue it to the structure I composed before. As you can see, I'm using a silicone glue on the borders. I want to spread the glue using a finger because in this way it's easier to glue and the glue will dry faster. But do not rush. It is important to glue everything very well to can have a strong structure. Once glued the sides, I want to use the emery board once again. I want to sand very well all the joints. Our aim is to build a chest of drawers as perfect as possible. That looks something professional. As you know, this chest of drawers has got 2 drawers, and we will make an horizontal shelf to divide the drawers. To can build the shelf, I want to cut 3 cardboards that measure 23 cm by 18 cm. As done until now, I will glue together these cardboards and I will sand the borders. I made a mark to can apply the shelf. This chest of drawers is 23.5 cm high, excluding the top cover and the base. To can place my shelf, I have to mark at 11.5 on the left as on the right side and I want to glue my shelf starting from this mark. It has to be as centered as possible. As you see, I glue it with silicone glue and I have to press to conjoin very well each part. Now, as done before, I sand very well all the joints. We completed the structure of our chest of drawers. Now we can make the drawers. I show you the cardboards you need for each one. For the base, we must cut 3 cardboards. Each one is 21.3 cm by 16.7 cm. For the first side, 3 cardboards of 16.7 cm by 11 cm. For the side number 2, 3 cardboards of 16.7 cm by 11 cm. And for the front, 3 cardboards of 22.7 cm by 11 cm. For the back, 3 cardboards that measure 22.7 cm by 11 cm. I want to use the same procedure used for the other pieces. Glue the cardboards and sand the borders. Then I will compose the structure as you will see. First of all, I build the base and now I glue the side 1 or right side. I use some silicone glue and I wait until it's dry. Then I do the same with the side 2 or left side. I apply some glue on the base, a little bit on the left side. I press to glue it better until the glue is dry. What I want to do now is gluing the front and the back of my drawer. As you see, the same method. We built our drawers. They must be identical. I insert each one into the main structure to be sure that they fit well. Well, they perfectly fit. Now I can start to paint. I want to paint the chest of drawers with this green. This is a sage green. I want to paint all the inner part of the structure, and for the outer side I want to paint only the borders because I will decorate with papers and I don't need to paint everything. For the drawers, I want to completely paint the external, but for the inner parts, only the borders, because I want to apply papers. I will apply 2 layers of paint to cover very well the surface. Once the color will be perfectly dry, I will apply some protective acrylic varnish, matte. I don't want to use a glossy varnish, but this is a personal taste. If you prefer, you can use some glossy paint. The use of protective varnish is not required, but strongly recommended, because it protects very well each part of your work and gives a better look to the project. It makes better each color. It gives a professional, finer result. Now we painted and protected the structure. I can apply the decorative papers. I will use Little Prince collection by Ciao Bella Paper. First of all, I will place the papers on the right and on the left side. I will use two different papers for each side. The one deals with stripes and the other with flowers. We will need in all two decorative papers that measure 18 centimeters by 14 centimeters and two more of 18 centimeters for 10.5 centimeters. I'm gluing these papers in a particular way. I'm working papers like they were decoupage or rice paper. I'm gluing them with decoupage glue. As you saw, I applied a layer of glue on the cardboard, then I placed my paper, and lastly, another layer of glue on paper. It is very important to cover all the surface with glue to can perfectly glue the paper. I know it is an original way to glue scrapbooking papers, but it protects very well the chest of drawers, and we can complete by applying a final layer of matte protective varnish. We must now make the same with the back of the Distractor. We will apply two different decorative papers. The first one with lettering and the other is the same used on both sides, the one with flowers. As you can see, I sprayed some decoupage glue on the cardboard, then I place my decorative paper and I apply a second layer of decoupage glue. The measures of these decorative papers are the following. The first one is 23.8 centimeters by 14 centimeters. The second one with flowers is 23.8 centimeters by 10.5 centimeters. Well, now it's time to apply the decorative papers on each drawer. We will place them on the front external side and on the inner sides. About the front, I show you how to do on the first drawer. You just have to repeat the procedure on the second drawer. I'm using a piece of paper that measures 22 centimeters by 10.5 centimeters. For the inner side of the base, a paper of 20.8 centimeters by 16.2 centimeters. For the inner surface of the sides, side 1 and side 2, two decorative papers of 16.2 centimeters by 9.9 centimeters. And for the inner surface of the back side, a piece of 20.8 centimeters by 9.9 centimeters. As you see, I'm gluing everything as done before with some decoupage glue. After gluing the decorative papers on our drawers, I want to decorate the external sides. As you see, I want to use this amazing floral stencil by Ciaupella. Its name is Floral. I will apply it with some texture paste using a spatula. I make this decoration on both drawers. Believe me, the final result will be wonderful. I love this stencil. Well, now I want to add some decorations on the external central part of both drawers. For every drawer, I want to place, first of all, a decoration made by two cardboards that I'm gluing now. They measure 18 centimeters by 8 centimeters. The second decoration is made by two cardboards that measure 17 centimeters by 7 centimeters. I'm gluing them together. Then I sand very well all the borders because it must look like a single piece. And I round each corner. I make this using an emery board. Once decorations are ready, I want to glue them together, the second one on the first one. Then I want to paint only the border using the same sage green used for the Distractor of my chest of drawers. You don't need to paint everything because we will put a decorative paper on top. Now I want to place the decorative paper on top. It measures 16.5 centimeters by 6.5 centimeters. I'm using some decoupage glue. And before gluing, I want to shape the borders. It is important because we rounded the borders of the cardboards and shaped the corners to give a better look to this piece. You must repeat the previous step a second time to have the same decoration for the other drawer, but with this floral decorative paper. Then we can spread some glue on the back and we can glue each piece on the front of each drawer. We can go on with our decorations. I want to apply a decoration on the inner side of each drawer. This decoration is composed by a thick cardboard that measures 10.5 centimeters by 15 centimeters. As you see, I rounded the corners and I painted the borders with the sage green paint. And now I glue the decorative paper that measures 10 centimeters by 14.5 centimeters. This is just a little decoration. I don't want to put other decorations on the inner side because I want to use the inner space as a rear drawer to keep things. Now I spread some silicone glue and I will place my decorations into the drawers. Now we can protect everything using some matte protective varnish, at least 2 layers. It is very important to apply it, especially on texture paste. Consider that you can use the chest of drawers. We will often open and close each drawer, so it is really important to protect the decoration. To can open and close the drawers, I will add these 2 little wooden handles. I'm painting each one with some acrylic paint, garnet red color. I apply 2 layers. Once the handles will be painted, I want to add some white acrylic paint and I want to apply it with a little sponge all along the borders. I think it creates a very nice effect. Now I want to glue my handles on the front of each drawer. I will use some silicone glue. Drawer's decoration is completed. Now I want to start with the Distractor decoration. I want to apply decoration on each side, right and left, and on the back. Each side decoration is composed by two cardboards that measures 11.5 centimeters by 16 centimeters. It is the bigger cardboard you see here. The second piece of this decoration is composed by two thick cardboards, 10.5 centimeters by 15 centimeters, and on top, a decorative paper that measures 10 by 14.5 centimeters. I applied this decorative paper with some decoupage glue. I painted the borders of the chipboards with some garnet red paint, and I want to enhance this decoration by applying some touch of white paint using a little sponge. We have to repeat this procedure 3 times to can have 3 decorations. Now we must apply this decoration on both sides and on the back. I apply some silicone glue on the back of each decoration and I glue everything in the middle of each side. Now I protect with 2 layers of matte acrylic varnish. We are going to complete our project. Now we have to create and apply the roof. It is composed by different layers. First of all, this one. This is composed by 2 cardboards that measure 27 centimeters by 21 centimeters, and the second decoration made with 2 cardboards of 26 centimeters by 20 centimeters. I want to apply the second decoration on the first. As done until now, I sanded all the borders, I rounded each corner, and I painted the borders with some sage green. Now, on the second layer, I apply a little bit of texture paste with the same stencil I previously used, the one with flowers. You can apply this decoration on borders. It is not necessary to apply it on all the surface because I will put another element on top of this first piece. We can create another layer. This layer is composed by a decoration, 2 cardboards that measure 21.5 by 15.5 centimeters, and other 2 cardboards of 20.5 by 14.5 centimeters. I will glue together these pieces, as you can see. I use some silicone glue. Then I glue on top a decorative paper. It measures 20 by 14 centimeters. I use some decoupage glue and before gluing I want to shape the corners. I spread another layer of decoupage glue on paper. And now I want to glue this piece on the previous I created. Now I create a third layer. It is composed by a first decoration made of two cardboards that measure 16.5 centimeters by 11.5 centimeters, and the second smaller decoration made of other two cardboards that measures 15.5 centimeters by 10.5 centimeters. I glued these decorations, and on top I will place a decorative paper with flowers that measures 15 by 10 centimeters. As done for the other decorations, I painted the borders with some sage green paint. I will glue this piece on the previous, as you see. We complete with the last layer. It is composed by two cardboards of 10.5 centimeters by 7.5 centimeters and other two cardboards of 9.5 centimeters by 6.5 centimeters. We glue the smaller piece on the bigger one. I painted the borders with some garnet red. I will glue on top a decorative paper of 9 by 6 centimeters, and I use some decoupage glue in this way. I will apply this last element on the previous. Before gluing, I want to add some touch of a white acrylic paint with a little sponge. I protect very well everything with some matte varnish. As a final touch, I want to apply a pommel that I painted with some garnet red and some touch of white acrylic paint. I glue the pommel on top in the middle. Now I can glue all these decorations on the chest of drawers on top. A good quantity of silicone glue to glue it very well, and I can place it. Now we can create the base of the Distractor. It is composed by two cardboards that measure 27 by 21 centimeters and other two cardboards of 26 by 20 centimeters. I will place the second decoration on the first. As done for the previous steps, I rounded each border and I painted the borders with some sage green paint. I want to place on the back of this piece a decorative paper that measures 26.5 by 20.5 centimeters. As you see, I shaped the corners and glued the paper with decoupage glue. Now I apply 2 layers of matte acrylic varnish, and once dry, I will glue this base to the structure of my chest of drawers. This is a final touch. As you see, I'm making little decorative points using some texture paste along the joints of 2 different decorative papers. I do this on both sides and on the back. This is a personal taste. You can decide to apply it or not. Our chest of drawers is completed.